You are now tuning in to the Evolution Daily Podcast.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode, I believe we are on 81 now of the Evolution Daily Podcast. HADIA, you are easily the most recurring guest on the program, so thank you for joining us again here today.
Thank you. It's fun. I enjoy hanging out with you. You're amazing, Aaron.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have to end the broadcast now. I can't accept any compliments from anybody. No.
Limit.
You are a fan favorite though. People, when they talk to me about the podcast, it's very common for them to bring up your episodes. And I think a lot of the listeners have ended up working with you, which is phenomenal. And for anybody who really gets a lot out of this episode, which will be all of you, make sure that you head over to hadialoving.com and also follow Hadia on Facebook. You know, you could pretty much just search Hadia and you're probably the first one that's going to pop up. You post amazing live videos. We've got Happy here with us today as well.
Life
yeah.
with Happy.
My dark night of the soul is over, Hadia.
Oh, yay. Congratulations. Did you talk to your guys about it?
Yes, I've been open about it. Yeah, I've been open about it on the podcast a lot.
That's really generous of you, Aaron. It's very generous, and it's a gift when you're sharing your authenticity and your vulnerability. You're teaching people, and it's a gift for people to receive. And I acknowledge you for that. And it takes courage because you don't know how people are going to react. So I'm proud of you. You're amazing.
I just think one of the things that people enjoy about my brand, and really any brand today that is going to thrive, is the authenticity behind it. Mm-hmm. I never want to be one of these people to pretend like every day I wake up and I'm just ready to crush the world and I'm going to fuck everything that moves. You know, I made this great point the other day. I said that the Evolution Daily, because during it, right, when things were really rough, and you helped me so much. So thank you again for,
I love you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is important. I keep interrupting you because
Go ahead.
You deserve to be supported because you're supporting a lot of men and they need you. Your men need you. The guys need you. And it's important that they sign up to work with you because you empower them. You support them. Mm-hmm. You're a gift to the world. And I'm a champion of men. I love men too. And I want every guy to get everything he wants. Through gaming, through life, through success, through money. And it's really important. And you're relatable. And I love that you are willing to be authentic and vulnerable because it's a gift you're giving everybody. And it's a gift that needs what is it called? That keeps on giving. Like you help somebody and then they help someone else. So your gifts are very profound.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I said on the podcast the other day, I said during it, while I was really down and it was just like a spiral of things, I really felt a lot of shame about it, actually. I really was not feeling, I'm hopping on these coaching calls. I get a lot of guys on my mentorship program, and I'm hopping on these calls, and I feel like shit. I'm like feeling so down. And yet I'm supposed to kind of be that beacon of power and light for these guys. And so I was just so out of alignment that I kind of felt a lot of shame around being just out of alignment in that way. But coming out of it now, what I said the other day is I said, Evolution Daily all started because of a 4-year dark night of the soul. High school to 22 was just bad. That was bad news bears. And that's how this all started. And so guess what? No matter where you're at on your journey, you're going to have some dark nights. But I feel so blessed that mine was less than a month and wasn't another 4-year dark night of the soul. It was less than a month. And I feel stronger, sharper, better, more motivated, more passionate to help these guys. I feel on fire now coming out of it. And you really helped me a lot with that. So thank you.
Well, the reason, can I add?
Yeah,
Can
of course.
I cover it?
Yeah.
Well, the reason you came out of it in a month because you didn't perpetuate it by ignoring it, by fighting it, by pretending it's not there, and you didn't numb it with sex, with alcohol, with whatever. Most people numb because they don't know what to do. You reached out for support, and you did get support, and you were willing to go through it. You got to go through the darkness to get to the light. You got to go through the night, literally nighttime, until daytime comes. It's a metaphor for our life, and it takes courage not to perpetuate our pain. It takes a lot of courage. So you stepped into it. And also you took responsibility, Aaron. You know, I shared with you about emotional immaturity, and you're like, okay, I'm going to step up. I'm going to do this. It takes courage to take responsibility for our part in our pain.
Yeah, and one of the things that one of the calls really helped me with was recognizing that I had been, and I think most people are, operating off of immature patterns. And we don't have to use immature in like the most negative way. You know, oh, this person is so immature. Immature could literally just be, I mean, you know, like an orange that hasn't fully grown, right?
Yes.
And so I've been operating off of, I was able to really identify like three patterns that started when I was like 5 years old and that never ever went away. And
Yeah.
the 5 year old me is still acting in this 30-year-old body. And being able to identify those patterns, which you helped me with greatly, has been a massive game changer. Because what happens now is I start to do it. But I see the pattern now coming back up. Before, it was just, this is who I am. Now it's like, that is Aaron. Whereas now it's like, oh no, this is Aaron. My soul is Aaron. And then these are some things I do. Oh, you're about to do that thing again. Don't, dude. Nope. We don't do that anymore. And I clean it up and I'm fucking feeling good. I have been killing it with online game. I've been going on basically a new date every single night. But more importantly, my students have been killing it with online game as well, dominating on Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, all of these platforms. How have they done it? How have I been doing it? With Online Game Decoded. This was formerly known as PST. We decided to clean up the image a little bit. So if you already got PST, you got OGD. And if you don't have Online Game Decoded yet, you need to sign up. A lot of information out there is just kind of telling you what you should do online. What we've done is we've taken it a whole nother step further. Inside Online Game Decoded, you're going to receive over 30 online game breakdowns showing unique openers. So many of you guys send awful openers. I even hear this from girls. Guys are terrible at opening. It's going to give you unique openers. It's going to show you how to stack your conversations in a way where you're always moving towards a final destination, because guys are just rambling on and on. You get a little friend, just having a little conversation. You got to move to the end finish line. Our conversations show you how to do that, ultimately how to close. Again, you're getting over 30 breakdowns as well as 6 modules, including a module on how to craft the perfect profile. Many of you are putting out a billboard for an offer that nobody wants to buy. Online game profiles are your billboard. This is your offer. What are you putting out to the world? And so many of you are getting it wrong. You're spending hours a day and getting no results. Online Game Decoded is going to get you those results. Head over to onlinegamedecoded.com. The link will be down below.
And what you just said is really important. It's like, you are not your patterns. They're just experiences that you're having, and you can choose not to do them. You choose to recognize them, and you choose to say, no, I'm not doing this right now. And sometimes you're like, I'm going to do this right now. I'm just going to be immature and have a good time. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's your choice. You know, like sometimes I'm immature. I drive like a young, immature person. I put all my windows down and I start speeding and I blast the music and I put my hands out like I'm flying That's a very immature thing to do. And it's like, it's okay. It's my choice and I'm having a good time. So as long as it's consciously my choice and I know that it's an experience I'm having, it's not who I am.
Yeah. And I think that this probably really, I think this cascades into drugs and alcohol as well. I think that at a young age, once you discover, because the truth is, I mean, this is dark to say, drugs and alcohol are kind of amazing. I mean, people don't do them because they suck. I mean, they're kind of the best thing in the world. The problem is that there's massive biological, psychological consequences to them and legal in a lot of cases. But I think that even early on, when you realize you start drinking, you start smoking weed, whatever, and it's like those first times that you had a really bad day or someone pissed you off or a breakup or something, and you turn to those, I think that that can be the beginning of a pattern that for some, unfortunately, actually never goes away until whatever, rehab, death, homelessness.
Well, the thing is, because people don't point things out, we don't have people in our lives. We're not born with a coach. I think we should be. I worked with a woman years ago. Her dad is brilliant. He said, he told his kids, you have your college fund and your therapy fund. He literally put money away for his, he goes, I know I fucked you up. And he put money away for his kids. He said, whenever you're ready, you got therapy fund. Go to therapy and complain about me. It's okay. So, and that really helped them to take responsibility and to get help. It's important to reach out and get help. Otherwise, how are we going to grow up? How are we going to evolve and mature? Just like when we were little, somebody sat with us and taught us our ABCs. If they didn't, we wouldn't know how to say ABC. You know, somebody spent time with algebra, with math, with science. It's the same thing with emotional growth and mental growth, is spending the time and asking somebody, do I do this? I mean, there's workshops. I don't know if you know about this. People go to these workshops and part of their homework is to go around everyone that they know and have them write a list of who they are, how they see them, and their patterns so they can learn about themselves.
I just got anxiety thinking about that.
I did this in my 20s, like I was 21.
Oh my, that scares me. Oh man, that's crazy.
Because people don't see themselves. We don't know who we are. We have an image of who we are, and sometimes it's someone else. Sometimes it's like Superman, right? We watch a show and we're like, oh, I like this person. This is me. It is not you.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you experience that, you know. So, and drugs and alcohol, that's why they're like, alcohol is called spirit. You know, it spiritually opens us up on one level, actually. And on another level, it takes us to our dark night of the soul. And when people go there without support, they can't get out of it. They need someone. That's why they become addictive to it. At first, it's like, ooh, it's delicious, it's fun. And then they get stuck and they don't know how to come out of their dark night of the soul, how to get out of their shadow. And balance between, we do need our shadow and we do need our light. We need our dark night of the soul. We need our light. We need our anger and we need our joy. You know, walking around the world going, oh, I'm peaceful, I'm living. That's not beneficial. It's not really. Sometimes you need to be angry. Sometimes you need to be sad, to retreat so you can come out. It's just like the flowers. Some flowers open up when the sun is out and then they close. And humans were like that too.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So when you went into your dark night of the soul, you went in and you went deep. And that's why you came out of it faster and you feel brighter. I don't know if, you know, as a metaphor. And you feel more empowered and stronger. What I mean by brighter, you're like, I'm ready, I'm going, it feels great. And you shifted your perception. And that's what's important, shifting our perception. What we perceive, that's what we will receive. Like literally, Absolutely. If I perceive that the world is beautiful and kind, that's what I will experience. If I perceive that people are terrible and ugly, that's what I will experience because that's what I'm looking for. And it doesn't matter what people are doing, I will get what I'm perceiving.
Yeah.
And the same
And
thing. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I mean, I was just gonna say that it really is. Uh, it's so hard when you're in it sometimes. For a guy listening to this right now, he's feeling super down. He's feeling whatever. You know, he's got a bad situation in his life, a breakup, lonely, whatever. It's so hard to see that these life circumstances that we perceive as negative are our greatest teachers, and that you have no look, like, if you're listening to this podcast, you have no choice but to come out of this. And so you have to recognize that right now this is a great teacher that has now taught you where you're not free, where you're still in resistance. Oftentimes the worst times in our life are able to show us what we've done wrong for the last 5 years of our life, and has now blessed us to course correct and given us that opportunity. And it's hard when you're in it. But again, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a guy, or some girls. There's some girls that listen to this show now. Terrifying. You're you're a guy or you're a girl that wants to live a better life. That's the only reason you made it this far into the podcast. You want to be happy. You want to make money. You want to hook up. You want to have a great relationship. And ultimately, you don't have a choice but to be empowered by these dark times, or else you're going to be listening to this podcast again in 50 years when I'm recording from my private jet, and you're going to be like, man, I could have gotten my life together. I could be on that jet with Aaron right now. But instead, you're smoking cigs in bed.
Yes. And it is important to recognize that everything is for our learning. Learn from it. What am I meant to learn here? How am I meant to grow? How am I meant to mature? Like you said, the orange, it's still, you can't pick it off the tree because it's not ready. It's not ripe yet. And for humans, we continuously evolve. I was recently working with someone and he's like, well, what should I do about this, and that? Like, have fun. He specifically was talking about gaming. I was like, go have fun. Stop expecting that you have to have sex with a woman. And if you didn't, you're rejected and you feel ashamed. Just have a good time. And when you have a good time, you will get the end result. But if you're stressed out about the end result, you're not going to get there. It's like, oh, and he did. He went out and he gamed. He had fun, and I was like, he said it was amazing. Shifting your perception really helps you. It frees you up, and releasing. It's good to have a goal, but it's not good to have an expectation that it has to manifest, because something else and better, usually something else and better happens. And we stop ourselves from receiving that's what's better because we want what we want. Like, for example, I worked with someone who talked about a 10 all the time. I want to be with a 10. I want to be with a 10. I'm like, well, sometimes a 5 could be a whole lot of fun. You just never know. Give yourself, if only 5s are showing up, you're meant to be with that 5. And it could be a lot of fun. Release yourself from your expectation. Because to him, not having a 10 meant something bad about himself. And it's like, no, you're denying yourself the experience that's meant to happen with a 5 or a 6 or a 3 or even a 1, Yeah. And I invite guys to release all that, like the numbers, because your 10 is somebody else's 1. And you talk about that. You're like, well, how can I get it to, you're like, it's who you're attracted to. We're attracted to different people for different reasons.
Yeah, there's so much around this subject, and the numbers scale is just it's weird to me. I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of a dork. when a guy's like, yeah, she was an 8.5, especially when you start doing decimals. She was an 8.5. I've seen some guys literally even like break it down into tenths now where they're like, she was an 8.2. And it's very strange. It's very weird. It's a weird way. I discovered years ago when I was filming my day game course, Thrive, which is no longer for sale. It's only available in the mastermind when you sign up. But when I was filming that, it was this funny situation where it was actually the first time I met Alpha Chad. He had come to work for me for a week to film this course. And I booked this 1 week in New York. It was expensive, you know, the Airbnb, the flights, the everything. And it was all to film this course. So I put myself to the ringer and I was like, I need to get day game polls on camera where I meet a girl middle of the day, bring her home, you know, we have sex, all that. And what was happening when I put myself in that extreme mindset and with that expectation was I could barely get through. I couldn't even get a number. I couldn't even get a number. I had to pause and remember that the key to getting a girl to come home same day, same night, from a date, go to a date, period, when you meet through cold approach, is connection.
Yes.
It's connecting. It's like literal, that is it. It's connection. And so the problem really in game, and I view myself as one of the least toxic motherfuckers out here that teaches this stuff. I love women. They're beautiful. I have some female friends that I don't even have sex with. I mean, we're connecting at a soul level, I feel. That's kind of the aim. And a lot of men actually ended up gravitating towards pickup or being in these kind of like toxic circles of it, really because they've grown to hate women from years of rejection. And so to them, it's I fucked the 8.2 last night in the bathroom of the club. And to them, that's like just the ultimate. It's like, see all you girls in high school that rejected me and everybody and everything. Look what I can do. And it's very dark. There's a lot of darkness. And the more you can learn to love women and thus like back and forth, love yourself and love women and just love people and everything, the more kind of love becomes a part of all of it, the easier it all really becomes.
Yeah, those are the two important key things, is connecting and loving. Connecting to yourself and loving yourself. And the women were not rejecting you, by the way. They were rejecting your insecurity. They were rejecting being objectified. And also, you don't know what's going on with them. You know, when you approach a woman, she might be busy, she might have a boyfriend, she might be married, she might be having the worst day of her life. And it's understanding that it's not about you and respecting that. And when you respect someone's no as just, you know, she just said no, someone better will come along. And trusting that and knowing that was an experience that I just had. And no, it's like, feel it, experience it. And it's not about you. They're not, your perception needs to shift from, I just got rejected, to, she just said no, cool. Let's go to a yes.
Yeah.
And a yes will come much faster if you let go of the judgment that this woman rejected me. It's like, okay, no problem.
There are two girls from my past that I know it's never going to get better than them. I know this for a fact. There's two.
That's a rational belief.
No,
I can't support you in that. No.
It ain't always going to get better, okay?
It does get better. It does. I can't support you in that. Okay, in 10 years, when you're with whoever, you're going to be like, HADIA, you're right. It is better.
It'll never get better. Listen. There's a couple girls where it ain't gonna get better than them.
If you say that, then that will be your reality. If that's what you believe, that's what you will experience.
Shit, asking it is given. Damn it. Yeah, you're right.
That's a limiting belief. It's a rational belief. You know why it gets better? Because you get better. Just think a year ago, you were a totally different person. Mm-hmm. And when you connect with women right now, it's better because you are better. You're better with yourself. You have more confidence. You're empowered. You look better. You feel good. and your self-talk is better.
Mm-hmm.
Your feelings about yourself is better. That's why it
It's
gets better, not because the women get better, because you work on yourself. You start feeling good about yourself and you start shedding all these irrational beliefs. It will get better. It probably get better tonight. I'm putting that out there for you.
I am going on a date with a serious hottie tonight at 8
Okay,
o'clock.
so it's gonna
And I
be
did.
better, Aaron.
And I did last night. No. Listen, here's the deal. First off, I'm killing it right now. I was being celibate for a little while, and I'm just like, fuck that. And I've been having a really good time. But here's the thing: is there are a couple girls where, and this is interesting because it works on a couple different levels. So there's a couple girls where I truly believe it's never going to get better. But here's what I mean by that. Is and it's actually a really freeing sort of situation. I've talked about this in some seminars, but it was early on in game. It was this girl, Rachel. I was in game for about 4 years at this point. I'm now in about 9 years, actually. I think this past December was like 8 or 9 years. I was like 4 years in, and I hooked up with this girl, Rachel, and I will never forget during it, like while I'm having sex with this girl, I actually thought to myself, I was like, oh, this is it. This is everything. Like, as far as looks, quality of sex, quality of the girl, everything, I was like, I can point to any Victoria's Secret model, any superstar, give me Halsey, give me Ariana Grande, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's nothing better out here than what I'm experiencing now. And shockingly, and then same with the girl that ended up having the baby that I do still think is my baby. But that's for another podcast. I want a damn DNA test. No. But that girl too, I would think these thoughts, I was like, oh, this is it. And the reason why those were actually freeing thoughts around these two girls in particular is because I then kind of broke this ceiling in my head where it was like, oh, you're always like grasping for something. And I've had these moments in my life. Another moment in relation to this, and then I want to take it back to the other level of saying that it'll never get better than these girls. Another situation I had, it was like God came down from the heavens and just like blasted a message in my head. I was in Colombia, and I was hiking up this crazy mountain called Tres Cruces, and you almost die getting up it. I mean, it's nuts. And I was with a bunch of friends, and my one buddy brought this Colombian girl that he had just met, and I'm shirtless, the sun's just baking us, and I just got this message from God where the message was, even if I had $20 million in the bank, I'd be doing this exact thing right now.
Mm-hmm. That's
like,
beautiful.
it doesn't give me $1 billion, give me 20 million. I would be on this mountain with friends right now. And it was this crazy message because it was like, dude, you're good. Like, you made it. This is life now. You're kind of at your destination now. And now let's keep like growing and expanding and having fun. But again, it's these life circumstances that have broken the idea for me that I'm always reaching and trying to get to some next level. When I can really tap into it from my highest place, I'm like, oh, you're already here, dude. This is great. Life's amazing.
Well, what you also did in that moment is you were present in the moment and you were taking it in, you were experiencing it. So when you're always reaching, you're not living actually, and you're not alive because you're chasing life. You're behind it. But when you were like, this is it, and it is it in that moment, that's the truth. And it doesn't mean you're not going to have other moments which you address. In this moment, this is it. And living like that is very fulfilling.
And the other thing I have to say about what I was talking about with those girls, about saying it never is going to get any better than them, the truth is, sex, looks, maybe even personality and everything, you're right. Maybe, actually, I could be right about the fact that like I'm never going to meet girls like these two that I connect with on that level again. But I could meet equal. I could be equally attracted, equally good sex and all of that. But what I love about it and what I've been from the dark night of the soul to now, and what I keep having this thought that I keep processing is we were not a vibrational match at that time. That's all there is to it. For the one girl to have gone back to her ex because I wouldn't commit and because we just weren't a match. We just weren't a match. And so I even had a date the other night with a girl where during it, I'm just like, oh my God, this is my fucking queen. Holy shit, right? I mean, I was blown away by this girl. And you know what? After the date, she ended up not hitting me up again. I texted her, you know, whatever. She is ghosting. But we were not a match. And my vibration's going to continue to go up. And maybe in 2 years, I would have met that girl. And now she'd be the one like, oh my God, I really hope that he texts me back and whatever, because that's where we're at vibrationally. So I kind of find a lot of freedom in the empowerment of knowing I will continue to grow and that I will continue to attract higher and higher vibration, whatever you want to dictate that by: quality, personality, their vibration, all of that.
Well, what's valuable in what you're saying is your world, your universe is showing you what's possible. Like all of us get a glimpse of what's possible in our lives through experiences. You had these experiences with these women. They're not a match for the long run, but they were a match in those moments. And you get to see the possibility of what's to come for you in your life. You know?
Yeah.
And it's nice to expand into possibilities. And without these experiences, you wouldn't know that it's possible.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I gotta say this too, to guys that are listening to this, because I've been a little less patient lately with people, maybe, and maybe it's not fair sometimes, but I lately have just been, I get angry almost when I know that these guys are maybe they're in my mastermind or a mentorship student or somebody even that just like follows my stuff and they don't do anything. It drives me insane because they want to jump to the top of the fucking tree. They want to just jump to the tree, the top. They don't want to climb it. They want to have a helicopter, drop them off at the top of Everest, take a selfie, and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
And so even with what we're talking about, I'm talking about crazy sex with these really hot girls and how that proved to me what I'm capable of and whatever. These guys are not even granting themselves the opportunity. I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm. These guys are not even granting themselves the opportunity to see if they can make a girl smile a little bit. This hot girl that right now you're looking at, you're terrified by her. You're not even finding out if you can make her smile a little bit. If I can hold a conversation for a couple minutes, can I live in the tension of talking to this stranger? Can I get through that tension and maybe at least ask for her number? So you guys are never going to get to any level because you don't do dick, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's the same thing with, people that become famous. They're like, oh, it's been overnight. Al Pacino, you know who he is, right? Do your people know who he is? So it took him 15 years to become famous. And in the beginning of his fame interviews, they're like, oh, you just became famous overnight. He's like, no, I've been at this and been poor and struggling and working my ass off for 15 years. And I didn't give up. For people, they just see the fame, the success, like they see you getting girls, but they don't know all the things that you had to go through, all the dark night of the soul and everything you had to overcome to get here. And you're still stepping on those stones. Our experiences are stones that we step on and they help elevate us. But you got to have an experience. And to have an experience, you got to put yourself out there. You can't just sit home, fantasize about having a 10 or a 9 if you're not out there putting yourself out there. If you're not taking a no for an answer and you keep going and you keep going.
And for a lot of guys, it comes down to a lot of self-worth issues. And it comes down to, this is obviously we could do a goddamn 10-hour seminar on self-love and all this kind of stuff, especially, you and your expertise. But I find that one of the things that, you definitely have worked with me on over the years and that I've found to be a very good sort of like right now, today, sort of tactic when it comes to self-love and self-worth is, what does somebody, look at anybody you want in the world, look at Aaron Alexander, whoever, look at it, look at Dan Bilzerian, look at a fucking athlete, look at LeBron James, right? These people, what do people do that love themselves? They nurture themselves, and you're very big on that. So a lot of these guys are sitting in their sink is stuffed with dishes, the old pizza box over here. Is that LeBron's house? Fuck no, it's not. Ryan Gosling ain't living in filth. G-Eazy is not living in filth. So it's about also deciding, hey, I've always kind of dressed like a dork. Maybe I can dress like those cool guys. Maybe I am worthy, because I can even relate to this and speak on this for a second. When I was younger, when I was at my lowest in life, I was the most judgmental prick you could ever meet. I was an insane person. Guys would walk across the street if I was out driving, maybe delivering pizzas, and they'd be going to a club or something, and they'd be looking fresh, right? Some ripped up jeans, a nice shirt, some like sick Jordans or something maybe. And I would just be thinking or even say out loud, look at this fucking douchebag. What a fucking, oh, cool, sick, bro. Like, I just would have such terrible thoughts about people. Deep down, it was a protection mechanism because I never felt like I could wear that. I never felt like I could be going to that club. I never felt like I was going to have the night he has. Look at him. I guarantee he's either got a hot girlfriend or he's about to fuck somebody. That ain't me. So I'm now going to live in defense and actually hate these people rather than take responsibility and say, I actually kind of want to be like that. I sort of want to be like that dude. So you guys can stop living that life and start saying, I'm going to look at people that do take care of themselves. They do look good. They put effort in. And now you start putting that effort in, and it signals to the universe, hey, I'm worth something.
Yes. And it's shifting your behavior to the behavior that you want to achieve. Like a lot of people go, well, it's easy for rich people to have a clean house or look good. But how did they get rich? They worked for it. They had a clean house before they were rich. They had a clean car. They did it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't hire a trainer, train yourself.
Yep.
And nowadays, really, with YouTube and the other podcast, there's no excuses. You know, you can have a training session in your garage with someone who's professional and who knows what they're doing.
Yep.
I mean, you
growing
put
up,
out a lot of. I'm sorry. You put out a lot of content. Just watching your content will help somebody elevate. If you can't afford it, just start with what you have and shift your perception. It's really important to shift your behavior, your actions, and your thoughts, your feelings, and what you perceive. Like when you were saying you were judging everybody. When we judge people, we're judging ourselves. You put someone down because the person who's hearing it is you, and your subconscious mind is hearing it. It's what we think of other people, we're really thinking of ourselves subconsciously. Our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between that I'm putting someone else down or I'm putting me down. And if you are thinking, judging somebody in a positive way, oh, this person is cool, I like this person, that inspires you. Your subconscious mind thinks that you're doing that to you about yourself. And that's why it's really important to monitor your thinking. Like I teach people, if you are watching your thoughts and your thoughts are negative and you can't think of anything positive, just pick one word, like I'm happy or joy or love. Anything that makes you happy, sex, just repeat that word over and over again. Happy, happy. Instead of having negative thoughts, you be in charge of your thoughts. Start with one word that inspires you. Superman. It doesn't matter what it is. Who's like the most amazing hero right now?
I would say Tom Brady, probably. Donald Trump, Tom Brady.
No, I'm talking about like in
like superheroes. I don't know. I don't think there's anyone anymore. I mean, Batman, I think is the GOAT. The Dark Knight, I think he's definitely the best ever. Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, it was Superman, and so yeah, just focus on positive thoughts, positive feelings. Shift your actions. Like you're saying, clean your room. Take that box of pizza and put it in the frickin' trash. Your life is
Yeah.
not, if you treat your room like a trash, you're telling yourself and your psyche that you are trash. And then you go out there and you game, the women that you're approaching, they're going to treat you like trash because that's how you're treating yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really that simple. The
Yeah.
way we treat ourselves, that's how people will treat us. And then you get mad at these women, but she's treating you the way you're treating yourself. Why should anybody treat you kindly and like you if you don't like yourself, if you're not kind to yourself?
What's going on, man? I know that you're enjoying this episode of the Evolution Daily podcast. I would like to personally invite you into the Evolution Daily Secret Mastermind. Now, this is my inner circle. This is our tribe. This is our squad. What you get when you sign up for the Evolution Daily Mastermind today is you get access to our weekly group coaching call. I am present on all of these calls. You get your questions answered. I give a sermon. Other guys on this call are dishing out amazing advice. And what we've created here is a community that so many men need. You right now, you're into game. You want to start a business. You want to get jacked, but you're not surrounded by people that are helping you along that journey. Come get help on that journey. We have the most active and incredible secret Facebook group on the entire internet. There are guys in this group. The guys that have flocked to the mastermind are guys that are out taking action. They're winning at life. They post exclusive content. I post exclusive content daily. There is so much for you here in the secret mastermind. Click down below and you'll be able to find out more details and you can sign up. We offer a monthly program and then we offer a one-time. That's powerful. That's powerful. And I guarantee there's 4 people, 5 people maybe listening right now where they actually do have it all together. They actually do. They're on all this. They look good. They're whatever, they're taking some action and you still get you meet a lot of girls that aren't down and you still get little breakups and, you get down about that kind of stuff. And even that is something that you've had to really talk to me a lot about, what you're saying right now about being kind to yourself. Really step into, try your hardest to imagine what your loving mother or your loving father would say to you right now and try saying that to yourself. They wouldn't say, "Oh, Steven, you piece of shit loser. None of these girls are ever going to want to be with you." They're going to say, "Oh, well, that's okay, man. I know it hurts right now, but you'll find a better girl and you got to just, focus on you for now," right? It's like they're going to give you loving sort of embrace and you have to, it's probably a lifelong practice to try to give that to yourself.
And someone's rejection is for your protection and everything is a lesson. It's learning from it. How can I do it differently? How can I show up differently? What is it about me that's getting rejected? Do I reject myself? And there's always up-leveling. You're saying, there's these 5, 6, 10 guys listening to this who have it all together. We are a soul and a spirit in a human body having a human experience. You can always up-level. There's more things to learn. There's more life to experience. There's more money to make. And there's more women to have. Mm-hmm. I was going to say F, but no.
Yeah. This is a Christian broadcast now, actually. We don't curse. Okay. We're going to be reading from our Bibles here in just a moment.
I'm not, but okay.
Thank you for joining Christian Daily Podcast, episode 1.
Starring Aaron Alexander.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm just gonna be a pastor now, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be a pastor.
Actually, you are in your field. I mean, what does pastor mean? What does the word mean? It means to guide people, to guide your parish. And your guys are your parish, and you guide them. You do it. In the spiritual world, it's called ministry. You're doing your ministry. Ministry doesn't mean religion. It just means you're doing what you're called to do. Like somebody's ministry is to do art and it brings people joy. Somebody else's ministry is music or dance or photography or swimming. Your ministry is to coach these men who need you, and they need to work with you. And the concept of people thinking, well, I did that already. You got to practice. I've been working with the same life coach since 2003, and we work together consistently and constantly. And I've had the same co-counselors for over 15 years. I need my team and my support system. Today, this morning, one of the first things I do is I connect with my co-counselors, and we have sessions, and I get supported. It's part of prayer. For me, prayer, meditation, walking the dogs, and getting my mind and my emotions cleansed as well. My mental health, physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. And it's a daily practice. You know, people have this concept of packages. I'm going to buy a package and then I'm going to be great. I'm going to go work with Tony Robbins and my life is going to be amazing. It doesn't work like that. It's practice.
Inspiration. Yeah, inspiration is a fire that burns out fast, and it must continue to be fed.
Exactly. And the guys, you work out, you know, it's a constant thing. When you don't do it for a month, guess what happens? You stop gaming for a week. Guess what? You go back to your old self.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a way. There's ways to mitigate. There's always ways to not go back to square one, whether it's game, body, all of that. But I don't know what it is, but I think maybe it was from tripping on shrooms when I was younger, or maybe souls really do live various lifetimes, and maybe I have a soul that's learned a lot of important lessons in the past, but I just so clearly see the bigger picture, I think, when it comes to life in general. And sometimes I fall off of it and I get a little too narrow-minded and my vision becomes a little too narrow and I lose the big picture every once in a while. But for me, I'm just like, I started game the day after I discovered it. The day after I discovered game, I was out. And I'm very open about this. I had to get wasted for the first months of doing it. I was not just out there sober doing day game. I was getting blacked out. I was out at the clubs, and you could barely even really call it game. But I was motivated and I was inspired. And then over time, let me really start trying to do this sober. These guys I follow talk about being sober all the time. It sounds weird, but let me try it. And over time, I just leveled up. But I talked to a lot of guys who have watched my videos for years, and they've not done anything. They haven't done a single thing. They haven't done any cold approach. And I'm just wondering, it's just, where do you think this all goes, right? If you're 25 listening to this right now, guess what? Start now. You can be a god by the time you're 30. You can be you can be rich, you can be jacked, you could have a gorgeous girlfriend, you could have slept with a bunch of girls. I mean, 5 years is a lifetime that could be happening. So if you're 25, you're either going to be 30 and be like, thank God I got it together when I was 25. Thank God. I look at my 22-year-old self and I'm like, I don't know who that motherfucker was, but I am so pumped because I struggled forever to take action on anything, dropping in and out of college, not signing back up for classes, quitting sports so I could smoke weed more in high school and play paintball. And I never really was a winner. And so I'm just so grateful that at 22, I was for some reason in a winner's mentality and I got it together. And so right now, if you're in a down spot, then you probably wish 5 years ago you would have been in a winner's mentality. So start now, and then 5 years from now, you're going to be like, thank God, thank fucking God, that podcast with Aaron and Hadia changed my life.
Yes, it is important to change your perception, because rejection for us humans, when we live in a human experience, it feels painful. It's like somebody killing us. Rejection is very hard. So shift your perception. They're not rejecting me. They're losing me. Think of that. It's their loss not to have me in their life. You can have any perception you want, and that will serve you. So if you can have your perception of rejection, that doesn't serve you. Shift it to, oh, well, it's her loss. She could have had a good time tonight with me. and you move on. And if you're walking with that perception of, I'm the best thing on the planet, you are lucky that I'm breathing in your direction, women will flock to you.
Yeah, and sometimes it gets harder. What really sent me into that spiral back in December was the beginning of it was the girl, right? The situation with that girl. And it gets harder when you have a longer, deeper connection with somebody. Anybody gets that, right? A girl saying no at the grocery store is nothing compared to a 1-year relationship breakup. So it's always going to get harder the more that there is that connection there. But something you've always been so big on with me and probably your other clients as well is being empowered versus being disempowered, or the way you phrase it a lot of times, which is being the victor and not the victim.
Yeah.
And it is almost one of these, it's almost like a cliche self-development kind of concept. Like everyone kind of talks about that a little bit, but when you really put it into practice, and then you calling me out regularly and being like, you're being the victim right now. And then I have to, and because I wasn't going to catch myself, apparently, right? So I kind of needed to be told, oh, I am being the victor. I'm being the victim right now. How can I go from being the victim in this situation to being the victor, and allowing this to empower my life, not disempower my life? And so no matter what you go through, I just turn back to Julius Caesar. I have my Julius Caesar statue over on my desk right now, because that motherfucker was just ripped to the ground over and over again, and he rose up to become really probably one of the most evil characters in all of history. But that's besides the point. He conquered Rome, and he became Rome's first dictator, and actually his son was the first Caesar of Rome. And so for me, I kind of tap more into that Julius Caesar, G-Eazy energy, where when I do get down and I'm able to come out of the pain, I now rise in a way where I'm like, oh, I'm going to conquer Rome now, bitch. Here we go. And so, I don't know if you guys want to conquer Rome or not, but you want to at least get laid and eat some greens or something.
Popeye the Sailor Man. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the spinach. He's eating that spinach.
That's what came to me.
Yeah.
And that's like Popeye the Sailor Man. He believed that spinach gave him power. Now, does it? I don't know. But for him, he did. What you believe, that's what you will create.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I was carrying around that dumb coin for a while. I believe that coin gave me power. And I think it did. And actually, that girl has my goddamn coin right now. And I'm just reminded of it. So I need to get that back from her.
Yeah.
I got to get my coin of power back. But yes. And I never thought I was going to fall into this world as much as I have, but I swear to God, the key to everything is law of attraction.
Yes.
I mean, everything you and I talk about eventually can just get boiled down into law of attraction, right? Yeah. And it's just, these guys don't believe that anything good's going to happen. They cannot even go to Target right now. I made a video about this the other day. I said, if you knew that going to Target, if you knew you even had a 50% chance of meeting a girl that you were going to have sex with that week, if you knew it was 50-50, you would go to Target. You'd get up off your ass, you'd go. But the problem is you truly believe there's a 0 to 1%. Most guys think there's a 0%. So now that thought, first off, makes them not go to Target. Then even if they do manage to go to Target, they're automatically walking around, well, nothing good's going to come of this anyway, so, whatever. If you knew you even had 50% chance, you'd be approaching every goddamn girl in there. And the key is believing there's a 50% or more chance and doing that action anyway, thus getting that end result. It's game over. And I feel blessed. My parents, I think a lot of this does come down to really toxic parenting sometimes. And I feel very blessed that my parents kind of always built me up as a kid. And I think that people, you're the one that people would want to work with on this. Because we've definitely covered some stuff with my family that you really helped me out with, but I'm blessed to not have had a terrible upbringing. I had a great upbringing. But I'm sure you have clients that need to work on these lifelong beliefs about themselves stemming from toxic parents.
Yeah, toxic parents and toxic teachers. When they were young, the teachers put them down, didn't be, some kids get hit. And I know it's illegal, but it still happens. you know, and then they get neglected. A lot of kids get neglected because the parents have to work and they don't have energy and time. Neglect is really devastating to a child. So we grow up neglected, and then we feel and think that everybody else is going to neglect us, and we start creating those scenarios. So you
Yeah.
got to shift that. And I do a lot of inner child work, subconscious work, and you got to shift it from the source, from your subconscious mind. And it's really very powerful work. And the people that have worked with me through the years know how their whole life changes, but it takes time. The other message is that it takes time. You can't go from 0 to 100. You know, you can't start gaming and thinking you're going to have sex 24/7 or every night. It takes time. And the other reason that it takes time, because you got to get used to it. You got to get, if you want something consciously, it's great, but actually getting it, we need to get used to receiving that attention, receiving going home with a girl. You guys, I'd want to go home with a boy, a guy. Actually, a man.
A young boy.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know why we still call it, like, I think after 18, it needs to stop boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm like, we need to come up with a better word for, you know, men and women relationships. I'm like,
well, if you
boy and a girl.
if you live out in Portland or one of these, you know, you're in the liberal hub of the entire US. A lot of people these days, they say partner, right? They say, you know, me and my partner. I hate that shit. I actually I know a girl in Portland who she's like, I fucking don't want to be called somebody's partner. Everybody here says it. And I'm like, no, if I date somebody, he's going to call me his girlfriend, you know? But yeah, the inner child stuff is so powerful. You and I have done a bunch of that kind of stuff as well. And I mean, what?
We act out as children in the world because we have not changed and updated who we are. Our response to life comes from our childhood until you update yourself. And then the expectation. People have a lot of unrealistic expectations about them, who they are. And like I was saying, you know, in your fantasy, you're like with all these women, especially if you're watching porn, and porn messes people up. Then you go out there and it's not like that. So you feel bad about yourself and you feel disappointed and you feel less than and you feel not enough. And you got to shift all these things and get realistic. This is who I am today. And how can I keep moving forward to get what I want in life? One step at a time, little by slow. And that's empowering.
And I just want to add on to this too, is that oftentimes ambition, I fucking hate people. I hate the world. I hate everybody. You know, a lot of times I hate everybody and everything.
But I love you, Aaron.
I don't hate you. You know that.
Yes.
A lot of times even ambition is shamed by so many people. And the crazy thing is that I used to think, oh, in pickup, we're all in this together. And it's kind of us against the world. No, it actually ends up being other people that are into pickup and shit that are the most toxic. It's people that watch my content that have the worst shit ever to say to me or about me or something. I'm like, damn. And it's because your success is a constant reminder to other people of their failures. So I end up getting a lot of hate when I'm ranting about some fucking hot ass chick I just banged the other night, whatever. That's great, bro, that you got that validation that you needed. Sick, dude. Like, was this just like a validation post? Well, you know, what's the value here? Whatever. It's like, you guys you need to, again, be empowered by other people's success. I'm empowered. A guy left the mastermind a long time ago, and I don't want to throw this guy under the bus. He was where he was at. But he had told somebody else he left the mastermind because he was super triggered by seeing so many guys killing it. and posting, look at this girl I hooked up with, date again tonight. He couldn't even handle that. So rather than being empowered to say, you know what? The tide raises all boats. All boats rise with the tide.
Yes.
Instead of, I'm going to try to get to their level. Dude, let me hit you up and see, like, what did you do to get that? Because I don't have that. He just had to leave entirely. He had to leave because he was so triggered by other people's success. And so I will get attacked about my ambitions in life in a lot of ways. And I think that deep down, I don't know how affected I've been over the years, but I think a lot of people will get actually subconsciously, they're not even conscious of it, subconsciously pushed into not wanting bigger things for themselves, not wanting a better life for themselves. And maybe it is even guilt from parents that never got it together. Who do you think you are? You're going to move to New York? Really? The whole family's here in Kentucky. You're going to move to New York? Oh, big city guy? That kind of stuff. So everybody here should kill their parents. This is a comedy show, Hadia. I'm sorry. Everybody listening knows that this is comedy. I'm just fucking around.
Well, that's one way to choose to live life. That is a choice.
I remember
every choice has a consequence.
Yes. But there is no good or bad in the universe. Everything just is. So no.
And also there's consequences on a human level. So one of the reasons that people hate on you because they want what you have and they chronically believe they can't get it. So putting you down engages with your energy field. And then they feel justified for not having what you have, but they want what you have.
Yeah.
So it's valuable to want what someone else has, but get your own. And also you got to expand. It's like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym. I don't remember the bench pressing. You start at what level, Aaron?
I mean, a typical guy is going to start maybe bench pressing around 135 pounds.
Okay, but he can't like jump to 200 or 300 in 1 or 2 days. He has to work his way up to that. He has to work his muscles and his capacity to push through 100, 135 to whatever, right? And that's the same thing with life in whatever we want. You got to work your way into being able and capable to receive, just like push-ups or bench pressing or any exercise. It's the same thing. So the reason you don't get what you want because you are shut down. You're not open. And a lot of people go, but I'm doing all this work. Yes, but are you open? Are you open to receive what you want?
Okay, bro. So right now you're at a spot in life where you need direction. You need guidance. You need coaching. I would like to tell you right now that I just reopened my 5-week mentorship program. Oftentimes I will close it for long periods of time because I get so many students on there that it's not really scalable for me to keep it open. But right now, if you're listening to this, then the 5-week Evolution Daily one-on-one mentorship with me is available. We're going to be attacking all areas of your life. We're going to be helping you to get into great shape, how to go out and meet women. I'm going to be holding you accountable, making you do approaches every single week. We're going to have you facing your fears, breaking down traumas, going from a guy that is currently stuck and doesn't know where to go to now being on an incredible direction forward and upward. Again, this is a 5-week mentorship one-on-one with me. You're going to be doing 5 one-hour calls with me, and we're going to be skyrocketing your life to the next level. This is all available over at evolutiondaily.com. You can go ahead and just click the link down below, and you will be able to access the mentorship. Sign up soon because this is going to close again very, very soon. I need to add on my daily prayer because I sent it to you the other day. But I need to add the one thing that you talk about all the time. I need to add it. My daily prayer for everybody listening is essentially just like 11 affirmations, you know? It's not really like a dear God, whatever. It's these things. I think it's up to 12 now. This will be the 13th that I want to remember every day. Because you and I can have this profound conversation. I can read a book. I can have a conversation with a friend. And if you don't write these things down and kind of look at them daily, then the idea kind of came and went. So I have about 12 that I really look at every single day. Now they're all on one piece of paper. And one of the big ones that I forgot to add to it, but that I told you over the summer was such an epiphany, was your whole concept of expand and receive. Mm-hmm. And that has meant different things to me as I've gone through different circumstances in life. And you must, it's like you're a net. It's like you're a net and you're trying to catch asteroids or something, and the net must expand massively in order to receive massively. Yeah. And if you don't expand, and I got to say this real quick, is that I have the tendency, and the reason why I need to add that to the list is because I think we all have the tendency to contract when things get real bad. Isolate, go to the room, drink alone, these types of things. And really, you're doing the thing that's actually only going to make it all worse instead of expanding outward.
And even when things are good, if you don't know and you don't have the capacity to receive, you're not going to get them. You know, it's like having a 4-ounce cup of a cup and you want to put 8 ounces in it. You can't. You got to get a bigger cup. So you got to expand that's the difference between a famous person and a successful person. A successful person keeps expanding their receptivity. And a not successful person, they want all these things and they work on them even consciously and emotionally and mentally, and they up level, but they can't receive. You know,
that's beautiful.
You can't put like a big couch in a studio. It'll just take up the whole space. Studio apartment.
Yeah.
Like you're Taylor Swift, right? The reason she's famous because she can receive her fame. If she wasn't capable of receiving all that attention and all that love and all that negativity, because when the more you're famous, the more people love you, the more people hate you, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to receive that and be able to contain it and not take it personal and know that it's just an experience. It's not about people who let, we've all heard this. You let fame go to your head, you lose it. Because it's all just in your head. Mm-hmm. And you got to put it in perspective again. I am going to receive some people can't receive attention. I experience that all the time. I'm out in the world. I smile at people and people look at me like, what? They don't know what to do with it. And I'm just smiling at them. You've experienced that, Aaron, right?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. And before we wrap up here, I just want to share this quote that I heard from, I don't even know who this guy is. I should research who he is. It sounds like he was maybe some sort of a Buddhist monk, but his name was Rami. And the quote is something along the lines of don't spend your life seeking love, but rather seek to destroy the barriers you've created to love.
Yes, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can read books, exercise, but if you're not capable of receiving, you're never going to get what you want.
We had a session one time in the summertime. I'll usually go to like a park or something just because it's nicer, it's just calm. And one time, this dumbass family started having a little birthday party next to me, and then the lawnmower started, and there was music, and I snapped. I was like, HADIA, will you just give me a second? These fucking people are da-da-da-da, whatever. And you were like, Aaron, it's all here to serve you. The universe it's all here for you, not working against you. This other spot of the park will probably be more fulfilled, like some shit. And I'm like, no, fuck the lawnmower. But it is. And so it's like that, even that on like a weird level is my inability to even actually, I could have sat there and thought, Oh, look at this nice little happy family. Oh, this guy over here earning a living mowing the lawn. That's okay. Let me walk over here. Even that is like a barrier I'm creating to the world around me, loving it and being loved by the world around me. And so, yeah, kind of funny.
Yeah, I understand the noise with the lawnmower, but the way I shift it, I love the smell of fresh cut grass.
Mm.
So my perception is, okay, it's loud, but I get to smell the beautiful smell that I enjoy. It has this amazing, some people hate it, but I love the smell of fresh cut grass. It just smells so fresh and
It does, yeah.
um
I just wanted to say real quick, my mom the other day was basically telling me I'm a fucking psychopath. She wasn't
thanks, Mom.
serious. She wasn't serious. She was being funny, but I told her this, and I want to share this with the audience because it's just something for me that I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't care, but it's something for me that's a big deal. I will, in my darkest times, not even my darkest times, I love this era of history, period, but I will sometimes, when things are going a little rough for me, I'm a little upset, lost a couple sales I wish I would have made, this girl not text, whatever. I watch Holocaust stuff. I have seen every Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. I've seen them all. And sometimes I'll forget about them, so I'll watch them again. The Holocaust for me, I watch that shit and it is so horrifying. And I know everything there is to know about the Holocaust at this point. And when I watch that stuff, it just makes me realize I am being, in my words, I know you would never choose this, but I'm being a little bitch. Here is this family just being torn apart, dad shot in the pit, daughter literally thrown onto a train. I mean, and it just puts me, as dark as it is, it just kind of puts me into gratitude. And I think sometimes we need to not always just like go towards the light, but rather actually, how about we sink into the darkest of the dark and say like, thank God I don't live there. Thank God I'm not in that. And I think that could work for people.
And that's a good point. Also, when we are going through our dark night of the soul, when I've gone through my dark night of the soul and I've been there plenty of times, I'm always grateful. I'm grateful I'm experiencing this. I don't know why this is happening and what I'm supposed to learn here. And I'm grateful I'm going through it. On some level, it was like I was shedding something. I was releasing something. And then on the other side of it, I expanded into more love, more kindness, more sweetness. Like, it's 2020. Most people say, oh, it was the worst year of my life. Ugh. I didn't experience it that way because my consciousness is different. It's actually was a great year for me. And I can make a list of all the wonderful things that happened. For me, when I was young and unconscious, that's when life was painful. It was excruciatingly painful. And the more I exercise my free will, which is choosing who I am, how I want to show up, what action steps I want to take, I am happier in my life. And I think from the first time we shut down, I was like, I'm going to choose to be happy, to be healthier, to connect more. And I started calling friends I haven't talked to in years. I mean, it was just amazing. And I started experiencing people more kind, more loving, more giving. And people were just so kind to me. I've had a lot of, I call them my joyful moments of receiving. Like, I don't go around, I'm not a person, go around whining, but people were offering me things that I needed. I didn't even talk about. And I'm just like, okay, thank you. So shifting your perception is powerful and empowering.
Sometimes I feel like you're so in tune that sometimes you'll text me and you'll be like, Aaron, do you need to talk? And I'm like, oh my God, yes, actually I do. It's like sometimes I'll even have wanted to reach out or something, but I'm like, God, we just talked yesterday about this thing and I'm just still stuck on it. And then you'll text me, you'll feel me thinking about you and you'll be like, Aaron, would you like to talk? I'm like, yeah, I do need to talk. Hey, so we're going to wrap this up. Obviously, you will be back on the show again. For everybody at home, do me a huge favor. If you're listening on your iPhone, please leave us a 5-star review. Just do 5 stars. Tell us what episode you like. Anything you can say something funny. Say, Aaron is ugly. Whatever you want to say. Leave us a 5-star review on your iPhone for whatever reason. It's like every review we get a few more listeners. So it really helps out the show. And if you guys are interested in working with HADIA, I believe right now, as an introduction to your work, you're doing a complimentary first session, right?
Yes.
Great. So that's all available over at hadialoving.com. And you've been posting your videos to YouTube as well, right?
Yeah. Got
Cool.
YouTube. And we also have a podcast, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Loving with HADIA.
Great. So yeah, if you guys search Loving with HADIA and HADIA Loving pretty much on any platform now at this point, they'll find content from you. So that's amazing. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
I love you, Aaron. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.
I love you too, HADIA. Thank you.